to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Antoine, and finally Paramount Plus has came to Australia, so I get to see the first original movie that's streamed in Paramount Plus, and that movie is Infinite. This movie is a new action thriller film that's directed by Antoine Fuqua and stars Mark Wahlberg, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Sophie, Jason Mantzoukas, and Dylan O'Brien. Haunted by memories of places he's never visited, a man played by Mark Wahlberg joins forces with a group of reborn warriors known as the Infinite to stop a man from destroying endless cycle of life and reincarnation. Finally, Paramount Plus has came to Australia, and I just streamed Paramount Plus. I think it had some really cool stuff, and I get to see the very first movie that came onto Paramount Plus, which is Infinite. I loved Antoine Fuqua. I think he's a really talented director, and I did watch the trailers once. I barely remember the trailers for this movie, but all I remember is that Mark Wahlberg and Chiwetel Ejiofor is in the movie. So basically, I watched Infinite very, very blind. Now, what do I think of this movie, guys? This is a movie that I would give the biggest positive of it all, the plot itself. I find the plot of Infinite the best plot that I've seen this entire year, honestly. This concept is interesting. It's something we've seen before, but this movie has some originality with it at the same time. The group of Infinites have their sides. They're good and bad, and their abilities is that whenever they die, they somehow resurrect and infiltrate, and somehow remember memories from past lives. And Mark Wahlberg in this movie plays a guy that has that, and the infiltrates are trying to get his memory again, because there's a thing that the bad guys are after in this movie that somehow Mark Wahlberg knows where it is, but the problem is, he has no memory. This plot alone could have been a great plot for an action movie. Like, this could have been the next Matrix. But honestly, guys, this movie has a lot of missed opportunities, especially with the plot alone. They made the plot of Infinite so boring. Like, I feel like this concept is so interesting in a better movie. This movie alone felt like it's by the wrong writers and director for this movie. The movie really mislead itself, and it just turns into one of the most boring movies that I've honestly seen this year. I think the acting alone was fine, like Mark Wahlberg. I felt like Mark Wahlberg was fine in the movie, you know, he plays Mark Wahlberg throughout the majority of the film, but I just think the acting was kind of bland from him, and especially from the other actors like Sophie, Jason Mantzoukas, I don't know if I say his name right, I've got a feeling I haven't. I would say the best actor in this movie was actually Chiwetel Ejiofor. I think he played a really good villain in this film. You get the villain's motivations. Like, their motivation in the film, they don't want this infiltrate thing happening. They basically want to die. They want it to be normal. You get their motivations in this movie. And I think Chiwetel Ejiofor did a pretty good performance in the film. He's the only actor that did try this entire movie. The rest of the acting in this movie was pretty bland. And the action scenes on this movie, although the action scenes are pretty cool, especially with the world this movie is progressing, it really doesn't make sense with the story. I felt like the action goes basically to the Fast and Furious action, and it goes a bit more ridiculous to the point where characters are like, okay, they could have died from this, or something like that, and they live through things. It kind of has that Black Widow vibe to it. And I'm fine with, like, ridiculous, fun, mind-blowing action scenes, you know, that you can't take seriously. But in the world of this movie, the action scenes combined to the world building of this movie, in my opinion, does not make sense. And the action scenes at times gets really messy. And that's disappointing for me for Antoine Fuqua, because I think he's a very underrated director, but I'm gonna honestly say this is probably his worst movie that he's ever done. And I was so let down because the plot of this movie was honestly really clever. I like this plot. I would love to see this plot again in another movie. But overall, guys, Infinite was just a really bland and generic action movie that has a really interesting plot, but the movie just really gives up on itself, and it makes this movie one of the most boring films that I have seen all year. It has some entertainment, you know, with the action scenes. The action scenes have some really cool aspects, but in my opinion, with the world of this movie, it didn't make sense. And I felt like this plot could have been so much better in a much better movie, because I was really disappointed by Infinite overall, and I'm going to give Infinite a D. So guys, that is my plot for Paramount Plus's first movie that's streaming, Infinite. Let me know what you think of this movie in the comments below. Do you like this movie? Do you hate this movie? Do you like this plot alone? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews. And have a nice day.